Hello, Cancer, and welcome to your reading. This is going to be a general reading for all Cancer rising and all Sun, Moon, or Venus placements in Cancer. I will bring in some astrological influences for part of this reading, so if you're not sure of your placements, simply search the internet for a free natal chart and enter your birth date and, if you know it, your time of birth information. It will generate a birth chart for you, including your ascendant, or rising sign. And when I refer to placements and houses in this reading, that's going to be based on Cancer rising. So if you have a different rising sign, be sure to check out that reading as well once I get it posted. I've shuffled and cleared your cards, and we'll do a quick shuffle cut so that we can start your reading for the month of June. This will be an overview, a general reading for all cancers, for all cancers. It's not intended for as personal message for any individual as you would receive in a personal reading. Okay, what I'm going to do first is cut from this Wisdom of the Oracle deck and choose a card that we will refer back to at the end of the reading. Okay, oh, we have New Life. That's nice. It sort of reminds me of the world. We will come back to this card, and first we'll go ahead and look at your tarot reading real quickly. We'll discuss it. I will pull clarification cards if I feel the need to. Okay, this first card is your focus topic for the month. Okay, Prince of Swords. That's going to be your Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is full of energy, and he's on a mission, a quest for truth. He represents the character and principles, your character and principles, the way you communicate your truth, and your intellect, how you use that to analyze and discover the truth. The swords are air energy, so they're very intellectual about things. This is your focus for the month, that air. Now, the energy that's going to help you stay focused on this for the tasks before you, Major Arcana. Very nice. Okay. So we have the Hermit. Now, the Hermit is not isolated because he's lonely or he feels rejected or she feels rejected. The Hermit is there because they want to reflect. And the interesting thing is that you've got a full moon coming up in a few days, and you've got Saturn retrograding in Pisces, which is all about reflection, a parent judging kind of reflection, judging yourself, evaluating yourself. And you also have Pluto coming up for a regression into Capricorn. So there's going to be a retrograde there. Pluto is about very deep reflection. I can see why the Hermit, this is the energy. Cancer, you're going to be, I think, slowing down and doing a lot of taking stock this month. Now, there's going to be challenges, of course, and the challenges here are represented by the Prince of Wands. The Prince of Wands is the Knight of Wands, very charming and charismatic character, maybe not all that steady. So it could be that you're going to be distracted by some fire energy, and we'll explore that. I think I'm going to need a clarification card on that. But that's going to distract you from your solitary reflection, because you need peace and quiet in order to take stock and look at your life in whatever areas you need to. Now, what is going to help you overcome or meet this challenge? The Seven of Swords. Okay, Seven of Swords. It says futility here, but I go along with some of the more common interpretations of strategy, tactics. So I believe what's going to happen is you're going to meet this challenge not in futile ways, but in using the swords to, using your intellect in order to come up with strategies that help you gain from your reflection. And then your final outcome card is, oh, Justice. How nice. Okay. Justice is about Notice the scales. You've got balance. Justice is about keeping balance by examining truth, discovering truth, examining it, reflecting on it, and making fair assessments and evaluations. I think this is going to be a month for you, Cancer, where you are not, you may be stepping back from a social life, maybe this Memorial Day weekend, and then not again until July 4th will you be surrounded by people and going on your merry way. But let's look at this more in detail. Okay, Knight, the Knight of Swords here, Prince of Swords. As we said, swords are air energy. The topic for this month is you will be examining your character, your principles, and aligning those with your actions in the earthly plane. Not just the spiritual realm, not just saying, well, I believe in this and I believe in this and I will stand up for this, but you're going to be reflecting on different aspects of your life and bringing things into alignment. So this is going to be a time for change, which is represented here by this new life card. And let's look very quickly first at the full moon that's going to happen in your house, your 6th house of health, wellness, and self-care, organization, your work habits. So your full moon is a check-in, and it just so happens this full moon is aligned with what's called the Great Attractor. The Great Attractor is a huge gravitational force. It's in the center of one of the galaxies, not close to us, but separately. It's intergalactic, and it's so many millions of light years away, but it exerts such a gravitational force that it will have an influence on this full moon check-in. Full moons are about looking back at the last 30 days, the last month. Now remember, you had an eclipse on May the 5th, and that was a very forceful, explosive type full moon. It forced you to let go of some things and purge some things in your life and say, is this still useful to me? Does this still work for my higher good? Is my higher self aligned? So that started a month ago, and it's going to continue for maybe up to a total of 6 months. So that's still, energy is still there, and this is like a little check-in. How's that going, Cancer? Your intuition will increase during this time, and because of that Great Attractor alignment, you're going to really be much more open to your intuition and your higher awareness of your higher self. And this, remember, full moons eliminate things that you may not have looked at for a while. Basically, they're unseen. So you're going to be digging deep, which also brings us to Pluto, which is going to be retrograding on the 11th in a couple of weeks here. And it's going back to Capricorn. Right now it's in Aquarius, and Pluto's like the Terminator. He moves into a sign, looks around, tells them, I'll be back, and goes back to the other sign. In this case, it goes back to the other sign and looks for some closure, some issues, and it's in your 7th house. Capricorn, where it's going to be retrograding, is in your 7th house. And that's your house of partnerships, marriage, contracts, sharing, equality, your interpersonal style within sort of an intimate area. Not highly social, but in arenas that are important to you, with closer others. So Pluto retrograding means you're going to be digging deep, really looking at those issues of marriages and partnerships, how you are in those, examining yourself, and again, seeing if your higher self is aligned with how you're living daily or what your goals are. So that's good. We'll talk about Saturn here in a little bit. Right now, because it's not going to be going into retrograde for a couple of weeks. But right now, you're going to be dealing with the full moon and the Pluto energy, and really, really going into introspection. So that brings us now the Prince of Swords, that topic then is you're looking for truth. Is my spiritual truth aligning with my mundane earthly truth in the earthly realm, everyday mundane matters? And you're going to be examining it from an intellectual viewpoint. Of course, you're Cancer, so the water element is always there. Your emotions will always come into play, especially since we're having the full moon and you're ruled by the moon. But you're looking for truth. What is truth? What is truth for you? The Hermit is going to do it by seeking some me time. You're going to need to retreat from your everyday life and routine. And I don't know if that means little day trips, if it just means letting everyone in your family know that you're going to close the door to your bedroom or to a study or a room in your house where you can, if you're into meditation, you meditate. If you're into prayer, you pray. If you're just into sitting quietly and listening to music and letting that sort your thoughts, then that's what you'll do. But this Hermit does it because they're seeking enlightenment and inner wisdom. And that's very, very important to you right now. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and talk about Saturn, because Saturn goes retrograde in Pisces in your 9th house on the 17th, about the middle of the month. And your 9th house is about how you expand and grow. Now, what Saturn wants to do is, as during the retrograde, is reflect on how you've expanded, how you've grown, and it's also your house of wisdom. How have you grown your wisdom ever since it started the cycle? Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac. It means the endings. So Saturn is going to retrograde. It's still in Pisces, but it's going to go retrograde, which means it wants you to look back over the last 28 years. That's how long it took since 1996 to complete the cycle and end up in Pisces. And Pisces is very, very much about digging deep review and reflection, and about your inner wisdom. It wants to know, how have you grown? What have you learned that you're now applying to your ethical and moral mindset viewpoint of this world? What's your philosophy now? And it wants you to take stock, look at that, and then use that to move forward, to probably, I guess, to bring better balance in your life. Let me pull a clarification card and see here what we have. So why is the Hermit energy important for Cancer this month? And we have the King of Wands. Okay, well, we had the Prince of Wands right here, the Knight of Wands, going out on that quest with all of the enthusiasm and inspiration and energy of the Wands. We have the King of Wands because what Spirit wants you to do is to become the master of this energy. It wants you to master it wants your natural feelings, which goes with the Cancer moon. It wants you to become a master of the feelings. And the King takes the essence of their element. It takes all that inspiration and the planning and the design. Wands aren't just about reckless energy and inspiration. They're about planning, design, and then carrying that forwards in an inspirational way. The Queen exercises that within her domain, whereas the King applies it, exercises it outward to the kingdom. So it could be that you are going to be given energy to take whatever wisdom you're gaining and not just apply it to your domicile, to the Queen's castle, but also in your outer world, bring it out into the workplace, into the community, however you're involved. So the King of Wands, this says that it wants you to take this particular challenge, this somewhat unruly energy of the night, and become the master so that you apply it for its absolute best, for the greater good. Now, this knight is going out on a quest, and he's going to bring back information for you to use. That's what knights do. They go out there like the scouts of the spaceship, go out into space, scout around, bring back some information for the captain, and that's what this knight's going to be doing. And the obstacle that you're facing, the challenge you're facing, is what are you going to do with that information? When you learn more truth, how is that going to change your life and the lives of the people you care about? Okay, but you're going to overcome it with the Seven of Swords. Now, in the traditional Seven of Swords, you have a soldier or a person, a character, figure, sneaking into an enemy camp and stealing 5 of the 7 swords. Now, it's not like they look smug. They're not doing it in a way as the 5 of swords does it in order to create an unfair fight that they're sure to win, a win-lose situation. They're doing it from strategy. The sevens in general are about assessing. They're about evaluating. So the way you're going to be doing it is you're going to stop every once in a while in the month of June. You're going to stop and say, what have I learned? Do I need to keep going on this path? You're going to use strategy. You're going to use strategy and tactics to apply whatever you're learning from your meditation, your prayers, your thoughts, your contemplation. And you're going to think about how to best use that, because you're moving from becoming a Knight of Wands with full of that youthful spirit to becoming a King of Wands. And you're especially going to do it with regard to your wisdom. In other words, are you growing? Are you growing into this role? Are you satisfied with that progress over the last 18, almost 20 years or so? How is your life different, and how are you acting in the world differently than you used to? Let me get some more clarification on this 7 of Swords. Oh, 2 of Pentacles. Okay, change, of course. New life. Pentacles are about earth energy. This is your work area. It's money. It's work, money. What else is earth? Earth is all of your material resources, which would mean any support you get from family members and friends that help you out in your everyday life, maybe babysitting or helping you run errands or meet obligations. It's all kinds of security, your property, your bank account, your investments, and your environment. The 2 of Pentacles, 2s are pretty much about choices and decisions, as well as about partners. And this makes sense because Pluto is going to be retrograding in your house of partnerships. So right now, it could be that you're trying to figure out how you want to balance your work life and your home life at the moment, or how you want to balance your values, and your truth, your principles with your daily life. And you're focusing on the strategies for doing that, which it will help you grow from this to this. Let me get another clarification card here. Spirit, why do we have the 7 of Swords in the area of assistance to meet and overcome challenges? Oh, the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, that makes perfect sense. It's because by using the strategies here, you're going to get a fresh start. All of this contemplation and meditation and thinking and reflecting, reviewing, digging deep, all of that is going to bring you to a new start, especially in the material world, the mundane, related to money and resources, property, etc. Okay? So that's why, that's how you're using your intellect to develop strategies for overcoming this obstacle and bringing a mature inspiration to bear on your life. You're going to be born again. You're going to get a new life, like a babe in the woods. Okay? And there's your celebration. Okay, so let's look at the Justice card here for your possible outcome, your final outcome. And the Justice is the only card you have here from the Major Arcana, which means it has a very strong influence. Major Arcana cards aren't just about the month of June or the time period being examined. This energy stays with you for a long time. You are looking for balance in this earth, in your everyday world. You want justice and you want fairness. And what has happened is you have sensed, Cancer, that you are out of balance, which is why you're going into this with the help of Pluto and Saturn and the full moon. You're going into this mode right here because you know you must achieve balance in order to move forward. You're not sure you can stay, that things can stay the way they've been much longer. You know you've got to do this. And you're going to be very serious about taking this energy and applying it here. You're going to really set your boundaries so that you can do that digging deep, that reflection and review. Well, and let's talk about the new moon first. The new moon is going to happen the 18th in the same house where the sun and Mercury are. So you're going to feel very, very distracted, very busy. The Prince of Wands here, that's your obstacle. It's going to bring you distractions. And that's because your 12th house is about spiritual growth, relating to that 9th house of where Saturn is retrograding, wanting you to look inward. It's also about your subconscious, your intuition. And yes, the full moon's going to bring you heightened intuition. And of course, Cancer, you've already got, you're very intuitive already. It's going to bring karma. The sun and Mercury and the new moon. This is a time to set your intentions regarding karma. This is your karma card, by the way. It's a nickname for justice. So when, yes, things are going to be very busy in this 8th house. I'm sorry, your 12th house, not your 8th. Your 12th house is also about completion. Remember we said Saturn was completing a cycle. Well, that's going to be heightened also by Jupiter being there for the next year and the new moon happening this month and Mercury staying there. And Mercury is about communication. It's what's going to happen is Mercury is going to heighten your communication through intuition. You're going to really pick up on things. Your perception is going to really get sharper. You're going to pick up on things much more quickly than you've been doing. And that's already started. Mercury is in Gemini, in your 12th house right now. And the sun highlights that. So your intuitive communication is really going to shine this month. And the last thing I want to talk about related to all of this is Mars and Venus just entered your Venus will enter on the 5th of June, entered Leo, which is your 2nd house of money, job, and work ethic. Now, Ace of Pentacles, that's about money, job, your priorities. See how you're juggling right here? So your 2nd house, Mars and Venus both are there. Venus wants you to bring harmony to this juggling you're doing. It wants you to unify the two opposing forces, and it wants you to find a harmonious compromise, a blend. Mars wants you to get after it. It says Prince of Wands here, fire energy, and King of Wands. So Mars is telling you, okay, and you can reflect, you can get wiser, you can do all that inner growth and development. However, you need to do something with it. And you're going to do it with a strategy. You're going to do it through thinking. And you're going to bring balance and fairness to your life, because you've been unfair to yourself, Cancer. And you need to bring fairness to your life, because if you feel resentful about anything, I don't want to say imbalance again, I'm saying that so much, but anything where you feel like you're giving, others are taking, and it doesn't seem to be any giving back or the usual appreciation, you feel like you have come to the limit of that. And that's why you're doing all of this. And that's going to be a breakthrough for you now that Mars and Venus are in your 2nd house of money, job, and work ethic, your values, your priorities. Setting your priorities, not just juggling anymore, but finding a way to make all of this work using that Knight of Swords energy and using the planning that comes with the King of Wands, the planning. Okay, well, that's what I have for you today. And I hope that you received some kind of insight and help from this. Remember, it was a general reading, and you can always, I'm still posting the monthly overviews, but once they're all posted, if your rising sign is other than Cancer, you can click on one of those and watch them and get some more insight. And please do come back if you enjoyed this reading, any part of it. I hope that you'll consider subscribing and liking. Thank you so much.